What up? Good morning. I guess I'm rocking and rolling here, getting ready for you guys. Getting that
immediately frozen. Hello, Mikey.
I was like, whoa, am I doing this myself? What's up, Jose?
I know. Immediately frozen to start the show. Nice to see everyone. Mikey, hello. Nice to see you.
I had that moment of recognition, like, holy shit, I was expecting to be with Jose. I didn't know I was going all alone. What are you laying in bed? Is that your bed frame there? What do you got?
No, I'm at the beach for a friend's birthday. So I'm in a bed at the beach. So yes, I have to stay secluded away from everyone to do these programs. And guess what, Mikey? Everyone's waiting on me to go to the beach. So we're going to have a hell of a program today, Mikey.
Let's go. Big day.
Nice to see you. It's nice to see you, obviously, Mike. Appreciate you joining me. Weird start to the show, but thank you for joining me. Yeah. Justin, it's nice to see you. By the way, Mike, you look and you sound great. Unlike the other day, you sounded horrible, but you look and you sound great today, Mikey. So nice to see you. Swig in here. Nate Dogg, my dude. Gerald Jones, old scum blaster. Abel A in here as well. Shout out to you guys, and shout out to Swig, who is indeed keeping up with this website. And look at the leaderboards right now. The Say Hey Kid up at the top last 7 days. Watch out. The Say Hey Kid has turned into the heat up, Mikey. Watch the fuck out.
Be careful what you wish for, Jose. Heavy lies the crown, my friend. And I'm going to try to take that crown. I'm going to try to snatch it right off your head with this playbook that we have today.
Well, I hope you do, Mikey, because I am notoriously shit under pressure. So it's nice to see. I need the crown taken from me ASAP. But as long as I can keep quietly cashing, that would be great. But let's get right after it here, Mikey. I've got some plays already locked in. It's going to be fun. Actually, Mike, I want to start away from the baseball field for a second. I know you're a multifaceted capper. Sure. I woke up. First thing I did today, Mikey, France plus 875, France plus 16.5. Let's go, France. Allez, les bleu. Allez, les bleu. I can't wait.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, it's America, man. You got to root for USA. It's my favorite team to root for here. Like you're passionate about your Venezuelan teams. That's how I feel about America, albeit what they do out there in men's basketball, I do not support. I don't like this lackadaisical, I don't really care, I'll flip the switch on when I want attitude. It's in the NBA. They're trying to make it happen in the Olympics. So I can see France, the home team. France seems to have a decided favorite across all Olympic sports. They've been out there gunning. And
the rest on our side.
We saw that yesterday with soccer, right? Spain goes out there, busts them up early. France comes back. They're grinders. They're scrappy. Jose, if you've never been to France, let me tell you this.
Please.
They don't speak English very well, if at all. In fact, it's not that they're rude. It's that they're upset you don't speak French. And that comes off as rude. So, you're going to need a translator. You're going to need an app. You're going to need a bunch of things to go over there because they just don't understand basic English.
Well, Mikey, I can confirm. If you start speaking Spanish to someone here, one of the first things they're going to say, why don't you speak English? So it's, I understand that. I understand that very much so. But it's nice to see everyone in the chat. Yes, I'm on France. My last name is French, so I can claim some French in me. Mikey, my dad was in the French military for a little bit. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Since we're talking about early plays, I'll give you guys a tennis play here to pop the show off as well. Nuno Borges starts. It's an ATP opportunity over there in Montreal, good old Quebec.
Sure. Contact dances.
There's a active red light district that I may have heard about that before.
Have you? Mike, you're a stand-up gentleman. I could never see you frequenting that red light. Please say it ain't so, Mikey.
I mean, I had some friends that told me about it back in the day, and
some friends.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. But Nuno starts at 12:20 this afternoon and lit the Steam report up all night long. Probably going to blank this guy as well. So he's a little juicy, minus 145s, minus 150s, but even looked at the 2-0, 2 sets to 0. That's sitting around plus 165 or so. Go ahead and take that action. And let's talk some baseball, Jose.
All right, let's talk some baseball indeed. Helga just walked in the room. She's fired up about baseball as well because these baseball bets are paying for cute dates. So let's keep it rolling here, Mikey. Nathan Eovaldi versus Carlos Rodon. Mikey, I mean, come on. This game is set up for me just to bet the Rangers here. I mean, how is it not? Carlos Rodon, a guy that I believed in early in the season. I had faith. He repaid that faith with him being healthy and ready to go, fresh. And now he's fallen off a bit. And my guy, Nathan Eovaldi on the other side, who historically pitches well against the Yankees, he doesn't give a fuck. And I like the Rangers here to plus 140 price here, Mikey. Quickly, let me get into the market here, and I would love to hear what you have to say. Obviously, doubleheader because rain out yesterday. You know, markets in these games can be kind of iffy. So take that with what you will. But 93% of the bets and money on the Yankees here. This line opened up at minus 153. It's stayed there. It's gone up and down a little bit, but it's always come back up to minus 153. And for your total here, Mr. Miguel, 90% of the bets, 92% of the money on the over. And this actually has gone from an 8 to a 9. Or sorry, I should say 8.5 to a 9 there. Mikey, I like the Rangers here. I'd like to move on the money line here, but I'd like to hear what everyone else has to say. Obviously, Troy Torrance. It's funny, by the way, real quick. Troy Torrance and I have been on the opposite side of a lot of bets recently, it seems. And yet our seasons are just perfectly matched up with each other. It's been hilarious. We both start hot. We both hit the shits. We have to battle back up. And both of us at the same time are now soaring back up into the winning capper land. So it's very funny to watch all that happen. But Mikey, go ahead.
Boy, tough spot. You know, I just think this is a bad spot. First of all, I don't like to play doubleheaders. I don't like to play games that were canceled and changed up because of rain delays, the rotation factors. Lots of issues out there when it comes down to it for me. This was a fade of the Ranger spot yesterday. 1-in-18 Ranger situation for me yesterday. So I don't like to get involved with this one. I know it's early action. That's why I've got this tennis play, and I don't need to get involved in it. But for me, if I was going to do something on this game, I'd have to look at the Yankees. I know you're looking at Rangers. I know it's great money, but I just, reason I don't get into these things here, you got these pitchers. Now we don't know how long they're going to go. They're changing the rotation. They already started a warm-up routine the previous day. We know they're creatures of habit. And now you go out there and you delay them. You put them back out there the next go-around. I do like Eovaldi. I think he's the guy between these two. I've said on record, I think Rodon is in a fade position. What a way to fire off and start this card up. But I'm going to pass on this game. And I'm going to look to the next game. I think there's some action across the card, but I just don't like to get involved in these reschedules and doubleheaders. Although yesterday I captured that that under 8.5 in that Minnesota game. This one, I just don't have any, I don't have any interest in it, Jose.
Understandable. I am close to moving on it. I have not seen much Rangers love in the chat, which doesn't make me feel great. Troy Torrance likes the minus 1.5. In both games for Los Yankees here. So let's talk about game 2 here. A lot of overlove, by the way, in the chat for this. Weinstein and Justin McKelvey both on the over in this game 1. Game 2 features my best friend Kermit Cole versus Cody Bradford here. Now let's talk about old Garrett Cole because, once upon a time, like a few weeks ago, he had to skip a start because he was, out of shape, fatty Tubbs. Garrett Cole here. Helga just turned around and looked at me and gave me a dirty look after that. She knows I have a history of body shaming people and it going poorly for me. So, but point of all this,
I'm in to fight that battle with you. If we got to go take them on, I'm ready, man. Let's go. Let's upset the Pacific Rim.
I will not upset the Pacific Rim because those people are very dangerous. Shout out to all my Korean friends out there. I will upset the New York Yankees fan base, though. That is something I will do and I will poke. Watch out for those K-pop stands. They are They are a passionate group, and I respect all of them. And I love them all, so I can cover all my bases. But
That might be
Kermit
my favorite
came
Jose
off.
Bouquett story. That might be my favorite Jose Bouquett. I mean, there's so many good ones. It's hard to dive in and say which one I enjoy the most, but I do like
Yeah,
that.
that's definitely the moment where people that don't know what I do for a living, like strangers would just message me on Twitter or like on text messages and be like, "What the fuck did you do? Like, what the hell?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I could go, I could go 20-0 on bets. Most people won't hear about it, but if you kick the hive with the K-pop stands, the whole world will find out about it. Apparently, so." It's very interesting. Vitalis, by the way, saying, "Man, I was in the other room. Are we talking about fatties? We are talking about fatties." Garrett Cole on the bump here. Yes, Helga does not like that I'm body shaming Garrett, but I don't like him. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, no walks. Last time out against the Blue Jays, that was got a rest in between starts. Pitched there, didn't pitch great. Honestly, I don't think he's someone that I could back. Obviously, price wise, it's tough to back him, and just pitching performance wise, it has not been enough to merit minus 175 ish. Bradford on the other side, he was supposed to pitch yesterday, got pushed to today in the second game. 3 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs against the Red Sox, 2 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs against the Cardinals. Was a lot better earlier in the season when he was starting, but his last 2 appearances have not been good. His minor league appearances as well have been meh. 2 2/3, 1 hit, and then 2 innings, 1 hit again. Both shutout performances, but only 2 innings is a little worrisome. And I don't want to trust a Rangers bullpen that, maybe it's tired from game 1. We don't know yet. So I'm off of this as well.
It's not a bad strategy to play the Rangers on both these games, 1 and 2, and try to come out with if you go 1-1, you're still going to end up with almost 3/4 of a unit in the situation. I think I got to see what happens in game 1 because I do like to fade Garrett Cole. So I'm a big believer in, that philosophy. And you look at his numbers. I mean, he's consistently bad, whether it be lefties or righties here. 288 against righties, 267 against lefties. Man for man, lineup between the Texas side and the Yankee side, at least projected lineups, does show the advantage being on this Texas Ranger side of things. So I'm going to look to see if, depending on what happens in that first game, and as I mentioned, it should be a fade from the numbers that I saw on the Rangers. I'll look to jump in on the Rangers for this game. I don't like to play these doubleheaders, though. There's like you said, this Cody Bradford's been rescheduled. Lefties go out there against lefties. They traditionally play well. He's got a 143 against lefties. He's got a 224 against righties. And you see that 3-0. I mean, you're looking at a guy here. You mentioned it. Garrett Cole, Chubbs Cole, and Cody Bradford here. I'd rather get a little plus money action on the Texas Rangers side. So let's see what happens with that first game. And then maybe the opportunity is to move at plus 160.
Very interesting. And Nastin, I don't think I haven't looked up the prices of old flights and stuff to Boston. Don't think I haven't. I've looked at them. And please do hit up Helga and convince her yourself. That'd be a good time as well. But let's move on to our next game. A's Blue Jays.
All right.
Osvaldo Bido versus Yariel Rodriguez here. I feel like I'm one of the very few Yariel Rodriguez guys out there. He hasn't covered himself in glory, admittedly. But I back this guy, and I think he's a solid pitcher to back, honestly. His last appearance, 4 2/3, 4 hits, no earned runs against the New York Yankees. He got touched up against the Orioles for only 2/3 of an inning, he wasn't feeling it that day. 4 walks, obviously didn't have his shit. But otherwise, has had a pretty good start of his career, honestly. I think the 1-4 record's a little deceiving to BH. Let's go to Osvaldo Bido on the other side here, who, is popped around from Pittsburgh to Oakland, 2 teams that you guys know I love. But you know what? What can you say? He's gone, good starts he's had 4 of them now. He's had good starts in 3 of the 4. You should honestly take out the first start of his season away as well. And you should just look at his last 3. 2 of his 3 starts have been solid. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. He got crushed against the Angels of all people, 3 2/3, 7 earned runs there, and dominates the Astros, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. So it's very interesting to watch his season progress. It's funny that in those 3 starts, 2 of them, the 2 good ones, were against the Dodgers and Astros, and then he struggles against the Angels. Funny enough. But again, this was another game I just probably couldn't sink my teeth into and bet on this game. 91% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Blue Jays here. We had a line opening up at minus 140. Not really moved. Dropped down 2 cents, if anything. And for the total, 89% of the bets, 88% of the money on the over in this game. And same thing here. It's a 9 opener, minus 110, maybe 5 cents, couple cents movement down, but really no action for me in this game either. Was not interested, Mikey. What do you think?
I just had that realization that I don't need to host this motherfucker. I thought I was starting this thing off and I was going to be on screen all by myself. So I'm going to settle into this card and enjoy making some money here.
Relax, sit back, relax. And if my computer dies, then you're SOL, but it's all right.
You guys don't understand the significance of how intoxicated I was last night. And then coupled with getting up early to cap this card and then seeing my picture on screen again, I'm like, where the fuck is Jose? Whew, I'm glad that
trust me. When I hit the video button and I just had everything freeze, I was like, oh boy.
So, when I look at this game, Jose, it's interesting that they put a 9 on this one, and I'll tell you why in a second here. But 9 being that kind of key number in baseball, right? We see that it's kind of the neutral ground for books. They don't know that it's going to go over. They don't know that it's going to go under. They're just kind of trying to play it safe and not get murked when it comes to a total and getting hosed. What's interesting about that is you look at these 2 pitchers and you think, well, Bido particularly, his last 2 starts, he's taken 2 L's, which is interesting because we've seen these bats for Oakland that have been firing. And obviously we talked about the month of July in the past and how effective those bats were at making, getting runs across the plate. But he's got 9 earned runs over his last 2 starts. And again, they're looking at this 9. And to your point, all this cash coming in on the over, this line hasn't moved. Now we look at the other side of things here. And what we have for Toronto, kind of a team that struggles to put multiple wins together. When I say kind of, I mean, not kind of. They absolutely do. They're on themselves a nice little 2-game win streak. They're 3 of their last 4 W's, but they're 0-7 when they're less than huge favorites, a minus 182. And they're on a 2-game or larger win streak. So they don't back it up and string together that magical 3 number where teams start to lift off and take off. And that's kind of been their struggle all season, and where they're sitting where they are when it comes to the AL East and letting kind of even your Red Sox have found a way to be competitive, and this Blue Jays team is just not. So I'm going to take a little action, though. I like this action on this Oakland Athletics team. I think there's a great opportunity here at plus money on the side, especially looking at the fact that we can't see these guys string them together. The 9 and the books trying to play it safe tells me, we could see this thing actually being a lower scoring game where these guys do bounce back and we see Bido bounce back. When you have 2 pitchers that kind of fall under the high K rate criteria, simple model, 2 K rate oriented pitchers, 327 and 249 to the under, which has me looking at this first 5. And they opened this up and they said, we're sitting at 5s, but now we've dropped it down to some 4.5s, and those 4.5s are plus 110 on the first 5 under. So I'm going to take that first 5 under 4.5, banking on the lack of the security that these books have around this 9. I think we do see these guys bounce back. I love the fact that they are some K-rate oriented guys. I'm going to take Oakland with the plus money, and I've got myself under 4.5 in the first 5 at plus 110.
All right, beautiful work there, Mikey. Great breakdown. I do lean Oakland, I guess, at the end of the day. If I don't like the minus 140 price for the Toronto Blue Jays, I'd probably agree with you there. It's also very interesting to see the new names in the chat. Bittersweet Negroni in the chat. I've never had a Negroni before, but he's speaking facts, Mikey. He's saying the UTSA is the Ivy League of San Antonio. And there's no lies detected there. And I'm glad to see you, Bittersweet Negroni. Also, Markel said to take off my nasty UTSA shirt off. I think Markel wants to see nipples. I think he wants to see a little titty today.
Oh, man.
Markel. I'm looking at you, Markel. I thought about releasing some titties. But it's nice to see you, my guy.
What?
All right, let's keep it moving here. Detroit, San Francisco, no pitcher for Detroit as of now for me. Mike, you didn't have anything either, I assumed?
I don't know what the Detroit's doing. I don't like these antics. They need to get their shit together. They did this the other day against Seattle, and here we go. We're seeing it again. I'll tell you some numbers to look for. I think the under and San Francisco -1.5. I think this is a candidate for, on the weekend, it's Jose that's wearing your sister's panties again versus the weekday where it's grandma.
Silky.
But once we see an actual announced starter in this one, Logan Webb's 9-0 to the under, pitches well off a bad start. He's a bounce back guy. A bad start, just the guy didn't go out there and get more than 6 strikeouts. So less than 6 Ks, 9-0 to the under. Problem for him is with this Detroit team, he loves the ground ball, and Detroit's not a ground ball team, but they are 24th in OPS against righties, which does provide, I think, some levity or some understanding on why this under is very much in play. 7.5 is a low number, so I would look to get this thing at 8. I would look to -1.5 for San Francisco. Bullpens, let's call them split, right? There's probably a little bit of an advantage when it comes to San Francisco just because they're at home, and it does seem like when push comes to shove, they're a little more reliable for a lengthy road trip here for Detroit. But I would look to the -1.5 for San Francisco. I think that number right now is, it's sitting at -110. It's kind of right down the pike as to where it should be. They should handle this Detroit team. I would look to the -1.5, and I would look to the under 8 once they officially announce a pitcher. So stay tuned. Maybe I'll throw a short out there for that.
All right. Well, beautiful work, Mikey. Stay tuned. I'm not moving on this game. No pitchers. Goodbye, Helga. Thank you as always. Helga, very additive today's show today. She's just making her way across the room, just sneaking around, looking like a secret agent. Got it to Helga. Let's move on to the aforementioned Boston Red Sox. And with my guy Nasty Nate, I hope to go to a Red Sox game soon. I think, Mikey, this might be the first year in like 7 years I have not seen the Red Sox live. I usually go to Astros or Rangers game, and I don't plan on it this year. And I might go to Fenway. Who knows? But it might break a long streak that I do not like breaking streaks. But let's talk about this game. I thought there's 2 things that I thought with this line, either, Mikey. One, this is the biggest trap on the board, or 2, this is the biggest smash spot on the board. How the fuck are the Astros +104 here today? The Red Sox bullpen has not been good since the All-Star break. I had faith in them yesterday. They did not repay me with any of that faith. Thank God I didn't have any money on them. Would have been even more mad. But goddamn, we're having basically a bullpen day. Josh Winkowski, sure, he started games for the Red Sox this year. But let's be honest, is he going to go more than 5 innings? I don't think so. And that leaves you with a bullpen that is very scary. So I thought this was an Astros smash spot, honestly. And I was a little worried that I was like, are they really going to give us plus money here to fade these fuckers? And they did. And on top of that, Mikey, according to Action, shockingly enough, 70% of the bets, 85% of the money on the Boston Red Sox here. There is fucking no shot I'd be on the Boston Red Sox today with Josh Winkowski in a bullpen day, and the bullpen's been horrible. Line opening up at -124. It's gone down to -114 at BetOnline. All the money on the Astros. Houston Astros for me today. Full game money line. I got +104, and I'll double up as well. First 5 team total over 2.5 even money here. It's absurd that these lines are happening. And I've been betting these first 5 team total overs. It's been nice. I've been primarily sticking to the 1.5s. 2.5s get a little dicey for me. But again, I don't believe in the Red Sox bullpen right now, and Winkowski, all that. So I will be on Astros and the Astros team total, unfortunately, for me here, Mikey. What do you think?
I think everybody needs to make sure they look down and that they hit that thumbs up button. That's the first and most important thing that's going on here today. Going to give you guys all these winners. Make sure you show that support for our guy, Jose. The show, the crew, the gang. Everybody's rocking for you guys trying to make this happen. So hit that thumbs up button. The least you can do to support this dude. And look, there's a couple thoughts that I had with this one. You're right. And shout out to Troy Torrance yesterday. I'll give him his flowers. He was on Houston. And I liked Red Sox. Unfortunately, the Red Sox on Fridays are that bad, right? You asked me yesterday in the show what their record was. I think it was 1-5, I believe it was, on Fridays in the first game of a series. And now it's going to be 1-6. That's just how poorly they play. You know, the interesting thing is I was looking at these lineups is, first and foremost, big old Josh, what's his name there? Winkowski, 302 against lefties. Not enough lefties in the lineup for this Houston Astros team, though. I mean, they've only got 2, right? And your daddy, that fucking guy is just printing money right now. So you can't go wrong getting some props on that guy.
I need to clip this portion of the show and send this to Dabby Cab immediately. I need to send this to Dabby immediately. You talking positively about betting your Don consistently?
I mean, look, Dabby Cab is a top of the leaderboard chaser, and that's fine. He talked about it yesterday. Anybody that has anybody that has a half a brain cell or something like that knows, just look at who's winning, and he's played baseball, and blah, 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 blah. But that being said, just not enough lefties in this Houston lineup. What I do like, though, is I do like the ability for Eric Getty to come out there and make some action. Bats, they do go in bunches, right? We do see that consistency, and Eric Getty's weakness, I guess, if he does, he's 247 against righties. He's 275 against lefties. A lot of lefties in that Boston lineup right now. I mean, look at this thing here. Duran, Abreu, Yoshida, Devers, Smith, Hamilton. They got a switch hitter and Nick Sogard and just 2 righties, and Connor Wong and Rafaela down there buried in the 9th of the order. And this could be trouble. This should have some runs, I think, in this game for sure. But I do like a little bit of an opportunity to see some Ks here from Eric Getty. I wouldn't be mad to look at his K prop over. This might be a prop game. I just don't have any. I took a live bet. These sons of bitches yesterday, Jose, 3-3, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let me jump back in here. Let me take a live bet on Boston. No sooner did I hit the button, and then they got banged on the head like a fucking baby seal with a club. So no good for me, Passola here. But I'm looking at Spencer Arrighetti. I might get a. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a side note as we go through this card and see if I can't come up with a nice little 18-1 player prop parlay for us.
All right, fair enough. I am moving on the Astros.
The Astros.
As we speak, plus 103 for me, actually. So plus 103, and that first 5 team total over 2.5 even money for me there. So officially in. There we go. And shout out to you, Scum Blaster, jumping on the Astros or in the live, I should say. So shout out to you, Scum. Nice to see you. And Craig Wood does indeed miss. He misses the K-pop Bouquett. I still talk to one of the guys that does the K-pop show quite frequently. We reminisce about it frequently. Oh, those were the days. Let's keep it rolling here. Padres Marlins minus 170. San Diego Padres here. Matt Waldron on the bump. We all kind of know what his deal at this point is. Knuckleballer. Pretty good. At the beginning of the year, I was kind of out on him saying, like, he's not Tim Wakefield. He's not R.A. Dickey, blah, 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 blah. But he's been solid all year. I just don't want to back him at a minus 170 price. And the market not really jiving today with the Marlins. It feels like, Mike, this is the first day in the past week that I'm not on the Marlins, and the market's not moving towards the Marlins. So it feels nice to just be able to sit back and not have to worry about this Marlins game today. Opened up at minus 155, jumps up to minus 170, even up to minus 178 now. Excuse me. So this is actually just climbing up. So Troy might have some cows grazing here soon. 87% of the bets, 98% of the money on the Padres here. Miguel Dinero, I just can't move on this game, obviously. 96% of the bets and 93% of the money on the Marlins. Yeah, Padres are pass, honestly. Take a run line, ride with it, but Rodri Munoz seems like he's going to get touched up today. What do you think?
Yeah, there's no question. It's going to be like a sleepover at Michael Jackson's house. There's going to be so much touching going on in this one. And I think it's an opportunity to hammer the San Diego's. But there's a lot of ways I'd get involved with this thing. I like Jackson Merrill. I like his bases props out there. I'm not a big bases.
What an asshole that guy is, by the way. What an asshole. I had a sweep in my fucking hands yesterday. What an asshole. Unbelievable.
Okay, so leg two, I'm building this parlay as we're doing this here so that I can give it out to you guys live here. Leg two for me is going to be this pitcher prop. I am going to look for Waldron to go out there and shove here over 4.5. His last two matchups, he's gotten 6 and 7 strikeouts out there. We see the Marlins team striking out over 25% of the time since the All-Star break. So on a consistent basis there, they're just not finding a way to get it done. 2 plays that I'm moving on for this game here. I'm taking the San Diego first 5 team total over 2.5. Look, it's Munoz Day, right? I mean, he struggles against lefties. Should be an opportunity out there to see him do some damage. You mentioned Jackson Merrill. I mean, lefty bats, 8 hits, 3 home runs, a triple over his last 3 games out there. Should be an RBI candidate, as I mentioned here. And I do like San Diego to put the boots to the ass here with this squad. I think San Diego, I'm going to lay not just a 1.5, though. I think I'm going to take a look at this. Let me peep this line out here and see what we have here. -2 is plus 112, -2.5. It's probably I'm going to take the minus. I'm going to take the -2 at plus 112. San Diego -2 plus 112. And as I mentioned, I'm going to have the second leg of the parlay get involved with this thing. I've also got the first 5, as I mentioned, the team total over. First 5 team total over on the San Diego side is -115 right now on DraftKings. If anybody can find a better number, I would take it. But this is going to be one of those opportunities. Let's not think twice about it. Let's just hammer this San Diego team. They're running red hot right now. And you talked about first 5 team totals over. Something that I've been really having some fun with here the second half of the season, and I think that's a good spot for us to get cash.
All right. Well, beautiful there. I've been doing a shit job of reading the chat here today, so let me just go back and say shout out to Ron Crawford. His spreadsheet dog play today was the Oakland A's, or is the Oakland A's. So shout out to you, Ronnie. Beautiful there. Joe T, fuck your under play of the day. The Milwaukee Brewers team total over 2.5. Also like Jays, Blue Jays over 9. Nice to see you, Joe T. Got a good beard on him, Joe T.
He's got this beard game's tight. This beard game is tight.
And Morgan Spooner, POD post for Swiggy and us. Padres first 5 team total over. Padres team total over 6.5. Padres team total over 8.5. Cronenworth. Merrill and Cronenworth. He's loading up on the Padres here. Loading up.
If you're looking for a sneaky little play here, this fucking scrub, I don't know where he's been, milk carton style, every time I play him, but Xavier Edwards. Everybody loves some Xavier Edwards, and all of a sudden, where the fuck has he been? I played him like 3 days in a row, plus 275 in the RBI category. Now, his benefit there is he loves to hit lefties, but I don't know what's happened to this guy. He should have been firing all guns blazing for this guy, and he's kind of been dipping off here. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Bogarts. Big opportunity for Bogarts in this game. I think this is a great game, I think, for some props, especially after yesterday's game where it kind of just snuck in on that under, right? Was it an 8 finish, I think was the total?
I think so, yeah.
And so looking at this game, probably going to see that bounce back where this thing does pop over. Hey, Song Kim's a guy that's one of my favorites, back to that home run situation. He had one of those first live streams that we did like last year, back-to-back home runs in that San Diego game on a Sunday night. So Ha-Sung Kim has a special place in my heart. Louis Arise, though, back in town as well, plus 210 coming back to Miami. There's a lot of counter narrative, or a lot of underlying narratives in this game that Jackson Jurickson Profar is a guy to look at. This is a great game, I think, for some props. But you got my place here. We'll start this thing off. Let's keep it rolling.
Let us keep it rolling, indeed. And yeah, Vitalis, me and my buddy, we reminisced. It's like 2 old war vets, You get it. I'm sure 2 World War II vets are like, yeah, you remember that one time in the trench when there was a bunch of dead bodies around us and there was a bunch of bombs falling? Those are great. Kind of like that.
Shot that guy in the face.
Yeah. It was just like that, Vitalis. It's just like that. You remember when Sergeant Major got his ass blown up? Yeah. Yeah, come on. I'm sure that they all war veterans talk about war like that, just very reminiscingly. Shout out to you. Let's go Angels Nationals. Interesting game, only because we have 2 of the biggest bum pitchers in the league going here today. I wouldn't say this in front of my dad, Griffin Canning. Obviously has not looked good this year. He's gone up and down with his performances this year. Now, I will admit, Mikey, I was a part of the Griffin Canning hive for a little bit. I believed in the guy. And when he goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned against the Mets, it makes you feel something. It makes you be like, you know what? Maybe. But it's definitely like one good start, one bad start, one good start, one bad start. 5 innings, like you just said, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned against the Mets last time out. Before that, he gave up 6 earned runs to the Rockies. Before that, he went 5 innings, 1 earned run against the Mariners. Great. Before that, 3 1/3, 6 earned runs against the Oakland A's. It's just good start, bad start, good start, bad start for him right now. He had a good start last time out. I will not be in line to figure out if he's going to have a good start here today. Now, the only reason I would be interested in moving on the Angels here in Griffin Canning opened up minus 108 for the Washington Nationals. This has flipped on Bet Online. This is minus 107 now. Los Angeles Angels. So that's interesting. You have 56% of the bets and 77% of the money on the Nationals. So that's a semi-interesting, bigger bets on the Nationals, and it's moved the other way. Totals wise in this game, of all the games that don't have 99% of the bets and money on the over, this is surprising that it's not one of them. 70% of the bets and 68% of the money on the over. But I'll say this, that is the most amount of bets on an under on the entire card is this game, shockingly enough. Not opened up at a 9.5. It is now down to a 9. Wow. Mikey, this under with these 2 shit bum pitchers. It's obvious 2 bad offenses as well, but man, that under is semi-appealing. What do you think?
This is a hard card today. You know, we look at this double headers to start this thing off. We got the Yankees rescheduled situation there. We talked about some of these earlier games where we got some bump pitchers out there. Yeah, I mean, it's another bump fight, right? But look at this line. Knowing what I like about the Nationals and you know, Corbin Carroll, I don't know what I'm thinking there. Patrick Corbin, got to be a good dude because he just goes out there and gets roasted. He shows up the next day. They don't care. They just leave him out there. He's got to have a good attitude about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't keep getting re-signed and making, what is he making, $45 million a season this year? Phenomenal that this guy, they don't care. They just let him go out there and get roasted like a fucking chestnut over the open fire. And Griffin Canning on the other side is a can of shit. So it's a tough game for sure. But when you look at this line, it's telling. It's telling me, are we going to see an opportunity where Corbin performs at home? If you look at this number, Griffin Canning, 4-1 his last 5 starts for the Angels. And you look at Patrick Corbin, 1-4 his last 5 starts. 4-1, 1-4. It's so obvious it's the Angels, but not so quick. When you look at this one here, you see the Angels are 0-9 against lefties when they're playing against a team that's allowing more than 7.9 hits a game in a line less than a plus 185 situation. So a lefty, teams that can hit, and they're not a huge dog in this spot out there. They're 0-9 as long as they're not in that huge dog opportunity. So all signs to me lead to this Nationals team. I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. I like this. I'm not going to take the full first 5. I can think to myself of a Migga to Max situation where he talks to me about it. Don't take the Angels full game. Just take them first 5. And I certainly don't want to take Patrick Corbin first 5 because he could certainly go out there and get shelled. But minus 108 for the Nationals. I can't believe I'm doing it. It's an official play for me. I'm on the Nats, minus 108.
Well, to add on to the things that we can't believe we're doing, I will be on the under 9 in this game. Believing in both of these starting pitchers to go and have some good outings here. Under 9, minus 110. Sometimes you just got to plunge your hands into the filth. Get real nitty gritty and just feel shitty about it. But take the under here. 9, minus 110 for me here. And yes, by the way, I'll say it again, just so everyone knows, 70% of the bets, 68% of the money on the over. It's the most under money of the card. And this went from a 9.5, minus 110, all the way down to a 9. So I believe, God damn it. And shout out to, by the way, Stacks
Yeah, I was going to say
Zach Neto over 1.5 bases. Seen a lot of Zach Neto and Justin Turner comparisons. So shout out to you, Justin. Shut
like
stack.
that play.
All right, beautiful work, Justin. Thank you as always for dropping your stacks play of the day. Thank you. All right, Reds Brewers here. Mikey, it's tough. Today's one of those days where it's a really tough card. There's not really any sexy pitching matchups here. No. And I found it more difficult to rank the games that I was not interested in than the games that I was interested in. This game sucks. Tobias Myers has been up and down, more good than bad, honestly. And truthfully, a pitcher that you could probably back and feel good about yourself. Back-to-back 1 earned run performances, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. It's all been pretty good, but the Brewers just one of those teams for a lot of people that can't ever really bet and feel great about and get right. Nick Martinez on the other side, shout out to Dabby Cab. He's probably like he woke up today and probably knew that Nick Martinez was pitching, so I'm sure he is on the Milwaukee Brewers in some form or fashion here today as well. Martinez followed up, or is following, I should say, a 5-inning, 4-hit, no earned run performance against the Marlins. That was his first start in quite a long time. He's had appearances out of the pen that are 4 innings, but I expect, 4 or 5 innings from Nick. He's been solid at one of these starting roles. And truly, I don't really think he's that bad of a pitcher here. And by the way, something I didn't notice for the Red Sox game, and it makes me feel better about this now. Confirmed lineup on RotoWire has Brad Keller as the primary for the Red Sox today. Fade. Brad Keller is
money.
Yeah, I was gonna make fun of Brad Keller's figure, but I'm gonna make Helga proud. She's not in the room right now. I'm gonna make Helga proud, and I'm gonna hold my tongue and say that I hope he gets shelled like a normal human being. All right, this game real quick. Let's talk about the market. 86% of the bets, 79% of the money on Milwaukee here, and this really has not moved. Minus 140. Minus 139 now at BetOnline. I'm going to refresh real quick, but minus 139 at BetOnline has not moved at all. It feels like the Reds are live in this game, and 97% of the bets, 96% of the money on the over in this game. Mikey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Reds are alive in this game. A couple things I looked at here, I guess. Martinez, though, what's he going to do out there? Not a good start his last time out. Just not a good starter, I should say. I guess he was decent against Miami when you start looking at the numbers. But these bats for Cincinnati, they can get hot. The whole squad can go out there and fire at any given time. Same thing can be said for Milwaukee. We've seen them. They're crushing. I circled one scumbag. The Scumbag of the Day award the other day went to Terang for Milwaukee. I think he was the only guy not to get an RBI in that score fest that they had 16-7 against Atlanta. I circled it and I sent it to a couple buddies, and I was like, imagine being this scumbag. Only guy not to have an RBI on the team. And, we see them firing, though. Again, they come back yesterday, 8-3. It was a great Milwaukee spot. I parlayed the Cubs and the Brewers together. Nice little plus 175 cash. But today I do think you're right. I think the Reds are alive in this spot here. You got divisional teams to factor in there. As long as they're not a huge favorite, minus 250. They're on a 3 or greater win streak. They're 3-25. I've talked about this quite a bit on pregame, and that 3 game is that kind of magical number where you can't start. We talked about it earlier with Toronto. They just can't get over that hump when it comes to tying together and going on that kind of a length of a win streak out there. They're 3-25 in those spots after the first game of a series that suggests a fade on this Brewers. But I'm going to go to runs. I think both these teams can put it together. I like this first 5. I want to take these 2 pitchers. Both of them as scrubby as they are. There's a nice little plus 108 out there. Let me see. Let me refresh. No, not anymore. Minus 105 for the first 5 over 4.5. I want to see some runs in this game. I don't know who's going to get them. I just know they're going to get them. And it just feels to me like this is a spot where how could you go wrong taking a first 5 team total over. Let me take a peek at what that's paying out or what that looks like right now.
Yeah, that's what Joe T's on. That's his fuck your underplay today. Brewers first 5 team total over 2.5 plus 110.
I love that. I was talking to Joe the other day about that. I was like, you're firing away on these overs. You can make some great plus money if you factor these components into it. He's doing just that. I think it's a great move. I see plus 114 right now out there for a first 5 team total over. So I'll probably get a tail action on that with my guy. But I'm going with the over 4.5. Right now I see a minus 105, as I mentioned. So give me Cincy. Give me the first 5 over 4.5, minus 105.
Yeah, I'm off this game. I think Cincy has a chance. I think Nick Martinez surprised a lot of people, but I'll probably just stay off this game. Nothing too firm for me. Cleveland, Minnesota, next game up. Cleveland, as I want to call them, apparently. Mikey, I struggle. One of the things I struggle with is the same exact line back-to-back days. Here, I did not have to edit my lines here on my graphics. This was the lines yesterday, apparently, as well. Though I can't remember who pitched it. Oh, it was a double.
You're a winner already. You didn't have to do any work to update the graphics. You're already winning.
It was nice. It was very nice, Mikey. You love when that happens. But it definitely throws me off from a capping standpoint. Because I'm like, oh, the same exact line from yesterday. And I'm now remembering it was a doubleheader yesterday, and then Alex Cobb threw the second game. So it was very interesting to watch and see how all this unfolds. The same line back-to-back days. Mikey, I'm not going to lie. I tend to want to just go the opposite way of what happened yesterday. If for example, and again, I don't have Alex Cobb's start off the top of my head right now, but like Alex Cobb goes out there and shoves, same line the next day, I'd probably be on the Twins. Opposite way, if Alex Cobb got shelled, I'd probably be on the Guardians here. So, by the way, game 2 was a 6-3 Twins win. So it makes me feel like the Guardians are live in this spot. We'll talk about markets and everything here in a second. Gavin Williams, shout out to our ECU guys, the Earl brothers. I'm sure they'll be interested to see how he does today here. Gavin has not had many starts this season. This will be his 8th. He's coming off of the worst one so far. 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks against the Orioles. A tough opponent. He did his first start of the season was against the White Sox, and it was similar to that last start, what I just read off. So you could call that probably his worst start. But I do think that he is still a good pitcher. Like I said, 7 starts, only 33 innings pitched this year. I trust Gavin Williams generally, and I do kind of want to back the Guardians here. Let's go to the market. Wow. 24% of the bets, 75% of the money on the Cleveland Guardians here. Big bets on them, it seems. Opened up at minus 120 for the Minnesota Twins and Simeon Woods Richardson, now down to minus 116. So some movement there makes me feel a little better. Mikey makes me feel a little better. We've got the total here. Unsurprising, you'll hear this for the rest of the card. 93% of the bets, 91% of the money on the over in this game. And we had an 8.5 juice to the under. Now juice to the over here, Mikey. I like Gavin Williams. I like the Guardians here. What do you think?
I agree. I like the Guardians too. A couple factors out there, right? Simeon Woods Richardson, hell of a youngster out there, right? 23 years old, making things happen. 75th percentile with exit velocity when it comes down to his abilities. Got a sub-4 ERA. Not a bad guy to go out there. You look on the other side of things, Gavin Williams, probably the softer of the two guys out there, but it's kind of one of those situations where I expect to see Woods Richardson go deeper. I expect him to go 7, probably in this case out there, because right now we kind of have a little cold spell on these bats with Cleveland. On the flip side, if Gavin Williams doesn't go deep, Cleveland's probably got the best bullpen in baseball. So, collectively over the course of the season, Tampa, I think, has probably the best bullpen over the last 7 to 10 day instance. But that being said, the Twins, WRC, there's a couple things I think that are struggling with them. They got a 20.9% strikeout rate against righties over the past 30 days. We look at their 10.7% walk rates, kind of right in the middle of the pack. So they're not getting a ton of walks, and they're not really showing plate discipline because they're striking out at a pretty decent clip. Bad recipe for this Minnesota team in a spot where these series, these divisional games, they're coin flippy, right? They do go back and forth. Where Minnesota's been catching some breaks, 2 straight games of wins with an error being committed in those games. And what do they do after that? When they're at home, they're 0-10 in those spots. So basic, element here, you caught some breaks, you committed some errors, and you still were able to win those games. You lose at some point when the kind of bubble burst out there. I think it is a good Cleveland spot. There's no action for me on it yet, but keep that 0-10 in mind for Minnesota. I do like to look to Cleveland in this game. I might look to try to live bet this one. Let's see how long Gavin Williams goes in this thing. As long as we don't see a big run right off the hop, I think we'll be in a good spot to take a live bet with a nice price behind it.
Cleveland money line for me will be official here. I've got plus 105. Officially official. Just made the bet. And we will keep on moving here. By the way, Mike,
you know what? I'm gonna take that as well. I'm gonna add that because I see that this line is gonna move, and it's starting to move. It's going to move. It's on the roll right now, and I see just big money coming in on the Guardians as well. I'm gonna take that plus 105 with you. You talked me into it, Jose.
It did not need much convincing.
No,
Mike, it did not mean. So I'm glad we're on the same page here. Let's keep rolling here, Mikey. We're having a good pace here, and yes, there are 5 or 6 women waiting for me to go to the beach, and I do not want to keep them waiting because I will get destroyed out there if I do. Just beat me up. It won't be pretty.
You're gonna play a little beach volleyball, a little beach soccer. What's the game plan? How do you keep yourself occupied and fit?
Well, I don't keep myself fit, you know that, Mikey. But all these girls like playing volleyball, so I probably have to stick that out. But I'm a big Polish horseshoes guy as well. Polish horseshoes, a game that my friends from Virginia taught me. Big fan of that.
All right. Well, what is Polish horseshoes? I don't know if I've ever.
Basically, you have a drink in your hand, you have a PVC pipe, and you have a bottle in the PVC pipe. You have 2 teams of 2. You go back and forth, throwing a frisbee back and forth. You have to try to hit the bottle and the pipe, and there's points awarded for hitting the bottle, catching the bottle, except stuff like that. So it's a fun game. Very fun game, yeah.
Okay. Does the bottle ever break?
No. No, I've never had that happen. Mainly because glass bottles and frisbees, I hope the glass will withstand. And if someone's throwing the frisbee that hard, then fuck you. Fuck you. But yes, and Markel, of course. Markel knows. Both ass cheeks got to be out during volleyball. Come on, Markel. Markel. Watch out for Markel, guys. First, he wanted to see my tits today. Wanted me to take off my shirt. And now he's talking about my ass cheeks. Markel, I'm looking at you, Markel. I'm looking at you.
You're on notice, Markel.
Yeah. Cardinals Royals here. And is it not PVC? PCP pipes? No, I didn't say PCP pipes. I don't know what PVC, just random fucking pipes, whatever the fuck. Cardinals Royals here. I struggle with this series here, Mikey. I honestly think the Royals at home should just be bet. It should just be bet. You should just take Bobby Witt props over at home because for somehow, some way, Bobby Witt's almost hitting like 500 at home. Maybe the Sasquatch in center field is relaying signs. Maybe they're just really good at hitting at home. Who knows? But they're obviously raking at home. They beat the Cardinals yesterday as well, and I was very close. Very close. Actually, no, I lied. I fucking obviously went to bed early. They were up 5-2 or 5-3, whatever it was, on the Cardinals. I lied. And I was like, fuck, I knew I should have bet the Royals. Blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, the Royals blow it late, and they win 8-5. So excuse me there. But I was in the mindset yesterday where I should have taken the Royals. I win, playoff on, et cetera, et cetera. And then, vindication, thankfully, that they lost. But here I am again, Mikey. I want to bet the Royals. Michael Wacha, a pitcher that I generally trust. And Andre Palante has been rocky, to say the least here. Earlier in the season, Palante was actually back and a decent bet pitcher, honestly. But last few starts, 4 2/3, 5 earned runs. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. A good start. 6 innings, 1 earned run against Pittsburgh. And then against these very Royals, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 4 earned runs there. So, yeah, I do believe in the zigzag theory, but I ultimately will have to stay off this game as well. Thinking that, like I said, the Royals are a good bet, but Cardinals are scrappy. Line's not really moving towards them. And we'll talk about that now. 80% of the bets, 91% of the money on the Royals here. Opened up at minus 132 at Bet Online. It's there now, minus 133. Barely any movement. So no action for me here. And total-wise, 99% of the bets, 97% of the money on the over. Unsurprising. This went from a 9 minus 115 to the under, now minus 122 to the under here. So what do you think here, Mikey?
Yeah, you talk about the zigzag theory. It's alive, especially when you look at these interleague series. Home loss is a favorite. Game 2 of a series does not boast well, though, when it comes to the zigzag theory. And 2-13. So tricky spot for me. You look at these pitchers. You talked about it. Palante, giving up runs, giving up home runs, 5 earned runs, 5 base hits. He's 0-4 in his last 4 Cardinal starts. Kansas City's won, their last start with their pitcher, and it's going to be a tricky game because I just didn't like the effort I saw out there with Kansas City yesterday. To see St. Louis just find a way to keep spanking. Like, they got up, they got down. They got up, they got down. They go back out there, and they finish the game, and Kansas City just kind of checked the fuck out. This number to me is kind of suspect, though, at minus 134 without any line movement on it here. Problem I have with this game, FanDuel's got the best number for Kansas City. You guys know my history with FanDuel. When they've got the best number, I'm taking the L. They're not giving me a gift by any stretch of things here. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to add a little Hunter Renfroe.
Sure.
The old 5-hole. I'm going to pop him into this little parlay that I've been constructing. Specifically, when I look at this guy against Palante, 4 at-bats, 3 hits. He's got a 750. And we look at the squad. Look at these 3 guys in front of him. Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez. Any one of those guys should get on base and have an opportunity for this 750 to come in there and smoke them. Let me take a peek at what this RBI is going to be for you guys here. I like this spot quite a bit. I just can't play this game at this point. It's a 7 p.m. start, specifically FanDuel having the best number for me. I got to stay away from those spots. They did it again to me last night. That White Sox first 5 under was never going to happen. FanDuel had that best number, and I fell right into the trap. So definitely buyer beware when you see those numbers here. Renfroe, 175, plus 175 on the RBI number. I think we're going to add him to this parlay. I'm going to get it in there. We'll see what it looks like, and let's keep it rolling. Got to get you out to the beach, Buttercup.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's not me. It's the women. I don't want to anger the ladies. I don't want to anger the women, Mikey. The women, they'll hit me, Mikey. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that. But let's keep it rolling here. And by the way, since you said Buttercup, it only reminds me of one thing.
I'll you $10 if you want to park.
Do it.
But Jose, how much?
Yeah. How nice that is, Mikey. It's so nice and sweet. It's beautiful. Thank you.
We were having such a nice day, and then
I'm still having a great day. Orioles Rays next up on our board. Corbin Burns versus a surprise. I saw him come back off the IL. He had a relief appearance to kind of get his shit together, but Drew Rasmussen back in our lives here again. A pitcher that once upon a time I loved backing. He got, obviously, as all Rays pitchers do, TJ out for a shitload of time. Jeffrey Springs comes back. Now Drew's coming back. This is why the Rays threw this season, by the way. They knew all their pitchers were hurt, so I'm glad that he's back. However, Mikey, again, I was shocked to see him start this game. Why am I shocked to see him start this game? He threw 2 innings 3 days ago on the 7th. 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, perfect, no walks, no hits, great. But I was, again, just shocked to see that. Not the 5 days rest, nothing. So I'm going to stay off this game. Well, okay. I'm probably going to stay off this game just based off that. I need to look at the market first. before I make these broad claims. But
Yeah.
that's a big red flag for me. I just am I really going to back a guy who's making his first start back? He's probably, and looking at his game logs in the minor leagues, by the way, 2 innings max. He's gone this year. He went 2 innings again in St. Louis. So how long are we gonna get him? 2, 3 innings? 4, maybe? I would just be a little surprised if he threw if he goes 5 innings, I'll be shocked. I will be genuinely shocked if he goes 5 innings. So I will bet nothing on this game unless the market says so. 81% of the bets, 93% of the money on the Baltimore Orioles. Oh boy, Mikey. Oh no, Mikey. Okay, that's not that bad. Minus 155 opener, now down to minus 148. Action tried to tell me this is a minus 170 opener. I don't believe them. Did get up to minus 160 at one point, but man, isn't that surprising, Mikey? You're really just going to throw a pitcher that has not thrown all year, and you're just going to throw him 3 days later, unless, again, that he's not going to go deep, which I assume he's not. I'm looking at RotoWire as well. They actually have Tyler Alexander as the primary, which makes more sense. That makes more sense as we talk about this. Orioles against lefties since the All-Star break. 10th best, 119 weighted runs created plus. Rays are semi-interesting. And you guys said it, Nate Dogg. The bullpen for the Rays has been the best in baseball the last 2 weeks or so. It's not really been close. But I was pretty surprised. And I don't know how I'm going to make of this game. I want to hear what you think. But like I said, I don't want to back Drew, but the Rays are interesting. What do you think?
Eloy Jimenez is the classic example of put me on a new team and look at all the fucking smile. That guy's got a bigger smile than the Kool-Aid man. I mean, he just loves not having to play for the White Sox anymore. And that kind of puts that chemistry and that electricity in the locker room. I mean, you got a team that's got some young dudes that like to go out there and ball and hit and do all those things. Then he add in Jackson Holliday. What a great story he's having. I mean, banging home runs all over the place. And shout out to my guy Sub, because he told me about the plus 1,100 home run his buddy cued him on to that first game. And he played it. I didn't play it. The second game rolls around, and I saw it again, and there was a boost on it. And I was like, man, is he going to do it again 2 days in a row? And he did. Impressive out there. But you mentioned it. What are you going to see from Rasmussen? Here's the thing. Tampa Bay, in the dog roll at home, terrible. They're fucking horrible. They're 0-12 when they're bigger than a 105 dog at home. They're just not winning. But at the same time, this line's starting to come down. I was looking at Baltimore -1 this morning. It was sitting around minus 128 on DraftKings. It's now minus 126. So that number's come down just a couple of cents. And then you start dissecting. You guys mentioned the Tampa Bay. I mean, what do they got? One earned run over their last 5 games or something crazy like that. And a number that's pegged at 7.5 doesn't scream a lot of runs being scored in this game. But Corbin, on the other side of things, Corbin Burns' form is dipping off, especially if you look at his most recent game. 4 earned runs, 5 runs total, a home run, 7 base hits. This is kind of that, something's got to give. Either Corbin Carroll's got to bounce back, or this Tampa 0-12's got to go. It seems to me the line is suggesting that this Tampa Bay team, probably a live dog. There's no action for me at this point. I lean to the -1. There's nothing official, but that 0-12 for me is Tampa. I don't know if I want to fade that. I know when teams get to these double-digit spots, they're not going to lose forever, and you got to start getting there. Now, the White Sox, if you rolled it over 23 times, you made yourself a cool $250,000. But if you roll it over 24 times, you got $0 for it out there, because they just don't continue those kind of streaks. Does Tampa remain in that position? I don't know. We'll see what happens here. No action for me, but I lean to Tampa.
Noli knows in the chat here, I guess his influence.
Skull? We got the skull?
Here. No skulls, but I think he's thinking under in this game, and I'm going to agree with him. People in the chat saying, the Rays, trust the Rays. The Rays know what they're doing, and you're right. I find it shocking that they're doing this, but he's not going deep. Tyler Alexander, the bullpen has been phenomenal, and I'll trust Corbin Burns to get this shit done. So under in this game for me is going to be official. Under, let me get the odds here real quick. 7.5 minus 107 for me here. And obviously, I'm not putting words in Noli's mouth. He can make any bets he wants. I just assume when he's around, he's thinking under. So it's very interesting indeed. So shout out to you, Noli. Thanks for watching as always in here. Appreciate you, my man. Let's keep it rolling here. Mikey, nothing official for you yet. I'm on the under in this game. Let's move on to one of our showcase games here today. Cubs White Sox. What a game. Yesterday, Mikey had a great time. Shout out to Deacon Mike, wherever you are. Deacon Mike finally got me to move on that Cubs first 5 team total over. Cash.
Nice.
Immediately. That was great. And I will keep saying throughout the year, Garrett Crochet is a fade. I will not back that fucking guy ever again, especially after his antics of the trade deadline. I don't believe, Cab said it was his agent. Someone's got to sign off on that shit. And I know that he was not. I'm convinced. I'm out on Crochet.
The only caveat that I would put into Dabby Cab's comments yesterday is they have an obligation to bring the offer back to their client. So it's not that they just arbitrarily made the decision for him. As an agent, you have to sign documentation and paperwork, be authorized by the state and the league that you're doing business in. And part of those agreements state that they have to bring those best offers back to their clients. So he did turn it down.
Mikey, once upon a time, did you want to be a sports agent?
No, I never wanted to be a sports agent, but I never thought I'd be a sports gambler, full time either. So who knows?
That's true. I would fucking love to see you walk in and try to negotiate a contract with fucking the Penguins general manager. And it'd be hilarious. You know how many fucking goals this fucking guy has? How many team totals this team cashes because of him?
Many moons ago, I used to deal with multi-million-dollar contract negotiations, so it wouldn't be a first.
See,
it was a lot of fun to do it. But that movie Ballers, you ever seen the movie Baller or the show Ballers on HBO?
I've seen some of it. I've seen the
Fucking
parts where the
show,
Rock
man.
is just addicted to pills.
Yeah. But it's a great show, man. He does a great job in it. They're sports agents, and they got all the famous players show up and it was like back in the era.
Funny. That is the funniest part. That it's like you're just watching the show. It's like, oh shit, look, there's JJ Watt. It's like, oh fuck, there's Kevin Durant right there. It's the weirdest show sometimes, but I need you to watch it. So you're right there. But Mikey, let's talk about this game because obviously the White Sox, they come back a little bit yesterday and they make the game respectable. I think the White Sox get up off the mat here today, Mikey. I think they show some fight, some backbone, and I think they put up a performance here today. 91% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Cubs. Unsurprising. Yet, it's opened up at minus 235. We're down to minus 220. Very interesting. With that, I think Justin Steele is semi-vulnerable here today. And I will move on a White Sox first 5 team total over here. 1.5 even money.
All right.
That's all I need. 2 runs. And everyone, and over my past week or so, the thing that has been cashing the most for me have been these first 5 team totals over 1.5. Now, the juiced ones specifically have been cashing. I have not lost a juiced first 5 team total over 1.5 yet. And I bet 4 or 5 of them now, which is nice. But these 1.5s I think are great. I enjoy betting them. Justin Steele gives up 2 home runs. 2. And the White Sox give me this cash. So official for me, White Sox first 5 team total over 1.5 even money. Mikey, what do you think? Craig may be onto it, Mikey. I can see it. Mikey negotiating with Pablo Escobar.
No, I used to work for a Fortune 300 company, not dealing drugs. Although when I was younger, I wouldn't have mind working for the old cartel, moving some weight around. I would have been interested in that. You could have twisted my arm just slightly to get me to go down that road of life. But fortunately, I made some good decisions and I did not find my way to a prison cell. So first and foremost, I'm going to add Paul Skeens. I'm going to add him to. I'm sorry, Justin Steele to my parlay here. I'm working on this parlay as we're talking about it.
We'll get to that fucking guy here in a second. We'll talk about that fucking guy here too.
I knew he was coming, but look, Flexen 0-16 in his last 16 White Sox starts. His last win was May 8th. I mean, shit. Is he gonna? He's got 2 wins all season. The White Sox. I mean, look. You got bad bats, you got bad pitchers, and you got a bad bullpen. You give up 6 earned runs against Minnesota in this flexing spot out there. Probably the best way to play it is, if you're looking at it, get that over 1.5 and expect to see some runs out here. Challenge I have is Justin Steele being the lefty, and you look at these bats. I mean, certainly not many have any experience at all against him. And then when you look down the lineup, though, pretty middle of the road or average when it comes to it, but not much better on the other side for the Cubs. I think that's a great way to play it. The White Sox are 0-31 if they're in the same series off a loss and the line's longer than the last game. So, bad spot to be a White Sox fan here, but it is the rivalry. It is a big deal. It's the big brother, little sister matchup here. The South side should be lit up. You guys talked about that yesterday. A lot of electricity, a lot of fun. These White Sox guys want to go make some contact with the ball. So I like that team total over. For me at this point, I just have the K-prop factored in here. So nothing official for me on this point.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a fun game for me because I'm just going to be rooting for these Justin Steele runs here. And it's going to be fun. It's funny. You've been thinking about Corbin Carroll today, Mikey, and I apparently have been thinking about Justin Fields. So very interesting thought processes by us. Another casher for us yesterday. God bless the Colorado Rockies. Woo! God bless them because we want the Braves to lose every single game they play now. I hope they do. Let's go Mets. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Braves not to make the playoffs. We bet them not to make the playoffs at plus 375 the other day. So fingers crossed. But today does not seem like the day to fade the Braves here, I will admit. Max Fried coming off of a horrible start. Now, he might have snuck another start in before the last one I'm talking about, but yeah, no, I was right. 3 1/3, 5 earned runs, 6 Ks, 5 walks in his return start against the Miami Marlins here. So I was very interested to see how he does here today. I mean, once upon a time, remember at the beginning of the season, Max Fried looked horrible to start his season. So I'm going to be very interested to see if he can, immediately correct this ship. He's been in Coors 3 times in his career, has not been in Coors since 2022. And his start in Coors was 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned run performance there. I'm going to stay off. Dakota Hudson, not a guy I'm going to trust and back every day. Craig Wood saying Dakota Hudson looks like Glenn from the movie The Ringer. So maybe there's that, Craig Wood. But I just don't want to move on the Braves here. And yeah, Kenny Wu saying the Braves ever going to win another game? Today has to be the spot, right? Yeah. If they lose today, then officially start sounding the sirens about their playoff chances. But yeah, I just think the Braves go out there and they've got to win today. So I think they do. 6 games in a row. You got your stopper out there to stop the streak. This is what he's here for. What do you think?
The stopper's in play today. I like it. I was fortunate to skin this thing out there for that over yesterday. I was sweating on that thing. I had I can't remember. I think I had 10.5, and then it dropped to 10, and I went in there and I took it again. So to see that thing get right there for me was glorious victory. Tough spot to play today, though. Look, Max Fried's going to probably get back to form. There's no doubt about it. You're right. 5 earned runs, 5 walks, 3 innings played the last time out there. Cal Quantrill plays better at home than he does at the road, which is surprising because it is Coors. He's got a sub-4 ERA when he's on his home turf, but it does suggest a bounce back. The dog situation between 145 and 190, when they're on a longer winning streak than their opponents, are 9-24 on the run line. They're losing the run line by 2 runs a game if it's in the same conference. So situationally speaking, they're losing those games by 3.5. I think the Braves looks like a good spot, but I'm going to take Matty Olson. I'm going to take an RBI action on Matt Olson. I got him at 125, and it's starting to come down. So shop around, but Matt Olson, RBI for me. He's going to make the parlay as well. We're going to get that Matt Olson spot in here. We're going to use it as a placeholder. We'll trim the fat at the end, and then we'll make an official RBI parlay for you guys here, or a hitter prop, or a total player prop parlay. But Matty Olson for me. Give me the RBI for Olson.
All right, Matt Olson for Mikey Dinero. Nothing here for me. We keep it rolling here. 3 more games left. Phillies, Diamondbacks. Well, I was going to say what really is the game of the night, but anytime Paul Skeens is on the bump, especially in Los Angeles, that's going to be the game of the night. But really good game here. I have bet the Diamondbacks a shitload in the last week, admittedly. And I don't know if it's been and it's been, I think, fading the Phillies a little bit here. Everyone knows that I'm the number one Phillies honk out there, except for their shortstop. I think this Phillies team is going to win the World Series. The only thing, Mikey, that will make me angry if the Phillies win the World Series is if their shortstop wins MVP. I will be livid if that happens and not pleased at all. Maybe I should bet him to win MVP just as an emotional hedge. I don't know, but I can't stand him, obviously. But this Phillies team has been in the shits recently, Mike. I'm sure you've experienced it. You know this Phillies team well. 4-6 their last 10. Not feeling great. But let's talk about the market here and see if the market at least jives with some Phillies love here. Because for me, Mikey, this is Diamondbacks again. Gallen at home, et cetera, but 65% of the bets on the Diamondbacks, only 10% of the money on the Diamondbacks here. So yes, 35% of the bets, 90% of the money on the Phillies. Big boy bets on the Phillies. And yet, Mikey, this line opened up at minus 108, Arizona Diamondbacks. It is now up to minus 114, Arizona Diamondbacks. Imagine putting that big bet on the Phillies and having the odds makers in the markets spit in your face and say, your money means nothing here. You can bet the Diamondback. You bet the Phillies at a better price now, you loser. So Diamondbacks are interesting to me, Mikey, here. The line movement, Zach Gallen at home, Nolan Wheeler, both have not been pitching lights out amazing recently. And even if they have been, the lineup has not been going well either. His last start, Nola's 6 innings, 4 earned runs against the Dodgers, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs against the Yankees, 6 innings, 1 against the Minnesota Twins, and 5 innings, 4 earned runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I just think it's decent odds for Zach Gallen here, especially at home. We don't get many cheap Zach Gallen home starts. And I'll say this, his home road splits this year, 3.328 at home, a 4.40 road, which is truly not that big of a split. But again, if you look at his career splits, a 2.94 home ERA compared to a 3.64. The difference is there, and I will trust Zach Gallen here, especially coming off of 7 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs last time out here. So give me your Arizona Diamondbacks here.
Well, they're not my Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's be clear about that. Excellent breakdown. Gallen, you talked about it. The home road factors better at home. You look at the numbers, Gallen, bad start his last time out there. Gave up 5 runs over 7 innings, but that was in Cleveland. 2 quality starts before it. And you look at his numbers, 3.28 ERA at home, a 4.40 ERA on the road. Conversely, Nola's lost his last 4 starts, if I'm not mistaken here by the numbers. And you look at him, much better pitcher at home than on the road. 3.4, not much better, but 3.41 ERA at home, 3.69 on the road. So vulnerability, and does kind of suggest there is going to be that bounce back. I mean, this has been a great series, probably the best series of the weekend for sure. Both these teams hit. It's a great NL rematch from the NL championship last year. 4.9 runs on average are the Phillies. 5.16 for the Diamondbacks out there. Definitely a great display of baseball. Yesterday, though, got everybody that was thinking it over, and they snuck in there with that under. Tricky spot. I'm surprised you won't mention his name, but Trey Turner's been a guy that's been out there raking as well. Lots of great things happening on both sides of these lineups. I mean, look, I don't have to tell you, Ketel Marte's been on fire, right? You put this guy in anything, it's like it's gold for this guy. He finds a way. Even the other day when he looked dead and gone before the Phillies series, he still cracks a homer in like the 9th inning to cash big plays for me there. And I like him here. So I think I'm going to get some Ketel Marte in this thing for me. There's no official play here. I want to take the Phillies. I'm 1-1 here. I took them both games. I'm down just a little bit of big with these two. I don't want to get involved with this side here. 8.5 on the total right now at DraftKings tells me, probably thinking this is going to be a little bit more of a pitching duel, that both these guys are going to kind of rebound, but nothing official. No need to belabor it for me at this point. 8:10 p.m. start. Plenty of time to watch this line kind of percolate and see where we get.
After you said Dead and Gone, all I could think of is Dead and Gone. I think that's Justin Timberlake. Great song.
Yeah,
great song.
It is.
Great.
Isn't that with he's got
probably with Timbaland as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Probably a great song. Shout out to Dead and Gone. I might have to play that today.
I might have to drop that one on the track today. The old beat track. Cue up the old 8-track,
Please. Well, Mikey, I have a record player at my humble abode. I know all about the old music players. Come on, Mikey. Let's go to this. Let's go to this game. Okay. Paul Skeens, Pittsburgh Pirates against the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team that everyone thinks is going to win the World Series, and they're not. But everyone thinks so, and I will use Paul Skeens to my advantage here. Paul Skeens pitched against these Dodgers, pitched pretty good. It's not one of his like most domineering starts. Like he went back to back against the Cubs and fucking shoved it up their ass. But he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs on 2 home runs, by the way, 8 Ks, 1 walk. Mikey Money, Paul Skeen gets lit the fuck up today. Oh. Dodgers money line for me. I was considering taking Dodgers first 5 team total over here, Mikey. I will challenge you, Paul Skeens, here today. Full game money line, not first 5 as well, just in case he shoves it up my ass too. But I think this line is very indicative of what we got here. 74% of the bets, 75% of the money on the Dodgers. I don't necessarily love that, but minus 120 opener for the Pirates, minus 120, and now we've flipped all the way to basically minus 110. Los Angeles Dodgers, yeah, give me the Dodgers. I don't believe in you, Paul Skeens, here today. It's not a back-to-back, but this is going to be his second time facing the Dodgers, his second time facing a team for the second time, and that first time he did it was against the Cubs in a back-to-back spot, and the Cubs, breaking news, are not a very good hitting team. So I will trust the Dodgers to make the adjustment. I will trust the video department to get all the video on Paul Skeens, and I will trust River Ryan, who is a nobody, not really, but nobody knows who he is. No one's got much film on the guy. So Dodgers for me, minus 109 for me.
Wow. Interesting. You're going to trust in River Ryan, huh?
The river runs red. Come on.
All right. I know the Red River rivalry, but I didn't know.
Mike, who would have thought, by the way, there actually is a Red River. I've driven past and over the Red River, and I was like, wow, this is why it's called the Red River rivalry. This makes so much sense. It blew my mind.
Can't wait for college football to come back. Interesting, though, Paul Skeens, you're right. Last time out against these guys, 5 innings, 8 Ks, 2 home runs, 3 earned. So, decent on the K side. Not so great when it comes to everything else here. And now his number's sitting down. It's a juiced 6.5 at minus 150 on his K side of things here. River Ryan, though, 3 or more walks in his last 3 games. Still trying to figure some things out. What's interesting here is, the last 2 weeks, LA, 3rd worst contact rate team in baseball. striking out at a high rate, 27.6%. But, good old Freddie back in action. We saw him last night make some things happen out there. Pittsburgh, third worst over the past 2 weeks in avoiding strikeouts. They ranked 6th overall on the season. So do we see some type of a pitching duel? This number is kind of suspect here. I'm going to add River Ryan's over 4.5 Ks to my parlay here. I'm going to trim it down as we get to the end of the show, but kind of wanted to take some Pittsburgh. You got me thinking a little bit about this here. The Dodgers, though, they're 0-7 in the dog roll when the total's 8 or less, and they struck out more than 7 times the previous game. So, that whole chasing balls, not making great contact, as I just mentioned over the last 2 weeks, does put them in an 0-7 spot. I kind of wean off my action as we get later.
Also account for them flipping. I guess they're not dogs anymore.
Yeah, I guess they're not a dog anymore. So that was kind of this morning, right? So I guess that's pivoted away from there. Not mad at the Dodgers play. I mean, seems like a gift, doesn't it? I took Pittsburgh last night live and pre-game. What's JPZ have to say? He's always one of those guys to tell me whether or not I should be on these Dodgers out there. Padres breathing down the Dodgers' neck. They don't sleep on this easy series here. I'm going to take some River Ryan over 4.5 Ks.
All right. Well, that is official for me. Dodgers money line. Again, I have to double check my odds here real quick, but I believe I got -109. I just want to make sure I wrote it down right.
I think I can get there on the Dodgers. I haven't pulled the trigger. My actions deliberately weaned off towards the end of the day here because I'll be heavily invested in the UFC. So as much as I got some early action going here, I'm looking to get into the UFC plays here. But I might get on that Dodgers. You might have convinced me that they're an opportunity here. Yeah. Pirates play the Dodgers hard, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Trust me. If anyone in the world knows about the Pirates' success against the Dodgers, especially in Chavez Ravine, trust me, it's me. I know. But I'm going to trust the Dodgers here to beat the shit out of the Pirates. So.
Raise it up.
Let's go to our last game here, Mikey. Last game, and I do have one more thing I'd like to cover before we get out of here. Mets, Mariners. Selfishly, I want the Mets to win. Again, I have the Braves to not make the playoffs, and the Mets are key to that bet. But, man, it's tough to back the Mets, and we've got, it's just tough for me to cap Mariners games because I'm very starting pitching based. I look at the starting pitchers a lot, and every single game, the Mariners will have the better pitcher. And that leads me to want to bet them, but their offense will just never come through for them. I hate it. I wish I could be the general manager for the Mariners. But this game ended up being a stay off in that aspect for me. I want to bet the Mets here, but fading Logan Gilbert is tough to do. 72% of the bets, 73% of the money on the Mets. Opened up at on the Mariners. Opened up at -132, now down to -127. So slight movement. Actually got down to -124 at one point. But it was just a tough game that I had to stay off of totals wise. And again, every Mariners game, I kind of lean under pitching, obviously. 96% of the bets, 92% of the money on the over in this game. And it was a 7 juice to the over heavily, but now it's a 7.5. So that's interesting. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Seattle in this game. Tricky spot for sure. Interleague AL beats the NL when when the AL's the home favorite. They're 631 and 406 in those spots. They definitely have the upper hand. Manaea, he's been a K man. I mean, his last couple of starts, he's been firing out there. Logan Gilbert, though, plays better at home. Sub-3 at home. ERA his last go round, he went 6 innings. He only gave up 1 run. He had 7 strikeouts against those Phillies that we just talked about. And probably the under makes a lot of sense here when you look at it, especially if it's gone to 7.5 now. If everybody's kind of dummied this thing up to that 7.5, I think that's a good spot there as well. I think this kind of feels like a Seattle and the under same game parlay action, a little Jose wearing the sister's panties again type of spot too. But I'm on Seattle in this spot. I'm gonna add Manaea's K prop here. I'm gonna go 6+ Ks under the parlay that we're doing here. I'm just trying to trim it down as we're putting a bow on this thing, Jose. So Seattle is going to be my last official side for the card. You might have swayed me on those Dodgers, but I'm definitely going to take a little Seattle action.
All right. Well, I can understand if you're taking Seattle in the under. It makes sense. It just feels like that's every game for them. If they're pitching well, they're gonna win. They just
Except
need to
that
scrap
Detroit series, man. They got some sneakies there at the end that fucking screwed me on more than one occasion where they just found a way to. I don't know what the hell happened out there. It was like, what? Really? I'm looking at an under in that Detroit game, and all of a sudden, bang! At the end of the fucking thing, I get literally fucking stabbed in the back on me. So fuck that under. But nonetheless, I agree.
Yeah. Nonetheless, well, Mikey, quickly.
Yeah.
I made some great casts yesterday, thanks to Jimmy on the NFL preseason. That was beautiful. Nice. We took the Eagles.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Everybody was on Baltimore.
Do you have any thoughts on today's slate, Mikey? I don't know if you capped the NFL preseason. We obviously have some games going right now, but I'd be remiss to ask if you have any NFL preseason action. And then after that, of course, you have UFC action. I know you've got your own live stream to attend to, I'm sure. So please let the people know about that as well.
I'm on the Raiders today. I got the Raiders. I was talking with some of the fellas the other day about this. The best part about doing this regular basis, we just get access to good information. And the information that I've been privy to is that the Raiders are going to treat this game like it's the fucking Super Bowl. So everybody should be a go. They're going to have a lot of action on the field. They're going to be rolling and making some things happen out there. I like an opportunity to take this Raiders team. Let me see what the line is for that. That was really going to be, again, one of those only spots that I have. Somebody made a great shout out yesterday that was a little parlay action. And I'll tell you, when I see some good information that I like, or I hear the good information, I'm not afraid to tail it. So I got a little parlay wrapped up, 2-1 action between the Eagles and the Raiders. They're now minus 185. The Minnesota Vikings, they're laying 3.5 on the road in this case.
And this line opened up, Mikey, at plus 1.5 Raiders.
Wow. That's because the word's on the street. Right?
Yeah.
Preseason, you definitely got to bet that early. You guys know I'm a late is great better, but I like the Bills too. I'm going to take the Bills against the Bears. They're just too deep. It's just like I talked about this yesterday with the Eagles game. I was with you guys on that Eagles spot. You got a team that's made the playoffs consistently with some continuity behind their coaching. The two factors that are important there, lead to the fact that all they're doing is filling holes. They're trying to get guys on special teams and, plug in those gaps because they already have their first and really their second strings kind of defined, or their second teams kind of defined. So when a player goes in there, they're going to be playing their balls out, trying to make that team and show the coach something when they get out there as a wide receiver trying to run a route. So, you got a deep team. Even the second stringers and the third stringers for the Bills are going to be better than that entire mismatch that is those Bears. The Bears almost had that game yesterday or last week, the Hall of Fame game. But it got rained out. They canceled it out on me. But I like this Bill spot here. I'm just going to take the money line for the Bills at minus 155. So I have two spots there that I'm involved with. The Raiders are tied to a parlay. I'm going to take a look at this line. It starts at 4, so we'll see how that thing goes. But the Bills are going to pop off here at 1 p.m. So 30 minutes away. Take the Bills on the money line. That should be good money.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I added the Raiders in a parlay. I'm going to run, and this will be official as well here. Mikey, you're good at math, so you can parlay calculate this. The minus 190 Raiders plus the minus 186 San Diego Padres parlay together, a little over plus money. So
I like it. I think that's a good spot.
Yeah, so I'll take that. And yes, I am going to watch the Jets preseason because I'm very interested to see what the Jets do this year. Mikey, I've never been as excited for a football season as I was last year. And to have that just ripped from me, I have PTSD. Like I cannot get excited about this football season until week 1 starts and we've finished at least one drive with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. That is when I will get excited for football season again.
You gotta set the bar somewhere. So finishing the first drive is important. Finishing the first quarter is important.
Yes.
Finish the first game, and then we'll see what happens out there. You think he's going to see shadows or ghosts when he's out there playing the Bills again? You think he's going to think twice about how?
No, but it's fucked up. It's fucked up that they put the game on Monday night again. Mikey, that was fucked up. That was really fucked up, the NFL. I was like, you guys are truly just trying to give me this PTSD. But yeah, I'm going to be thrilled to watch that. But Woo Woo Kenny Woo wants to know, Mikey, if you've got some UFC plays here. And obviously, you don't have to disclose anything, Mike. You can tell people where to find that at. right now if you'd like as well.
Listen, we're gonna have a big stream tonight, and we do it right, man. We get out there, we fire, we get this cash. We're consistently banging W's week in and week out, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. We'll be going through this evening part of the card, football that's out there, hockey. Jesus, not yet.
You're interested in the hockey, we know it.
I love hockey, man. We had a great 60-unit season last year, and going to run that back and then some.
Yes.
So,
by the way, Mikey, while I interrupt you real quick, did you see the video of the Oilers looking all depressed after the game?
Yeah.
I texted that video to Jimmy, and I was like, "When are we making this Oilers bet to win the Stanley Cup? When are we doing it here?" So I'm going to be the biggest Oilers honk next year ever.
Yeah, I think that's there's some validity to what they've got going on over there. They should certainly, Jimmy had a good take on that. They got to lose it to figure out how to win it type of thing. And I get that. I mean, it makes sense. UFC wise though, some action for you guys here. Lots of interesting spots with this card. Some weight cuts, some guys and girls missed weight out there. I mean, some as much as 5-6 pounds of weight miss. I gave out Denise 6:15 p.m. It's the third fight on the card. I gave that out at plus 185. And this thing has gotten steamboated. I said I was going to steam. It went from 200. It's down to plus 150. I still like it. And I'm going to look at some KO spots there in the first and second round. This dude's done nothing but knock dudes out. The entire time he's played he's got 7 straight wins. Every single one of them is by finish. They've all gone in the first round with the exception of his last fight. That was his first fight in the UFC. He got a little touched up in the first round, and then he came back out there and he just put the guy down in the second round. So they say Carl Williams brings it right to the center and should be pounding this guy. But Carl Williams is a wrestler. Denise is a kickboxer. I think he's going to go out there and finish him. I think that's a nice plus money spot for you guys there at plus 150. I like this first fight too. It's a ladies battle. They went to a split draw the last time they fought. And here they go. They were both, Ellen Carr making her second fight, in the UFC. Luciano's making her UFC debut. It's an opening spot out there. I don't typically get excited about these ladies fights, but parlay together Luciano and the over 2.5 rounds is going to be a nice plus money spot for you guys. Luciano probably wins this thing by decision. Ellen Carr does look fit and tone, but there's two prelims for you guys. And I'm going to give you this parlay, Jose. I whittled it down as we were talking about this thing here, and we'll get you off to the beach. 19-1. It's 6 legs for you guys, so get ready. We're going to go Maddie Waldron over 4.5 Ks. Justin Steele over 5.5 Ks. Spencer Spaghetti 5+. I took 5+ because it's over 5.5. Got juiced down, so there's a little reverse line movement there. So 5+ for Spencer Arrighetti. Matty Olson gave out the RBI play of the day there at plus 125. Manaya, give me 6+ Ks for Manaya, not the over 6.5 that's juiced. I took that down to 6. And then Ketel Marte to get a hit. Just one hit for Ketel Marte. 19-1 for you guys out there. Ketel Marte to get a hit. Manaya 6+ Ks. Matty Olson, RBI. Spencer Arrighetti 5+ Ks. Justin Steele over 5.5 Ks. And Matty Waldron over 4.5 Ks. 19-1. Give a little sprinkle out there, you guys. I put this thing together. I got up early to give you guys this action. Make sure you take a little taste on that out there. Fuck, even a $5 bet's going to pay you $100. Go have some fun with it. Enjoy your Saturdays.
Please do. Enjoy your Saturdays. Thank everyone. Thank you to everyone that watched the program beginning to end. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to Woo Woo Kenny Woo here saying Duplessis play of the year. Mikey. Next Saturday, book it. So I am going to write that down. Woo Woo Kenny Woo Duplessis play of the year for Woo Woo Kenny Woo. I mean, how can you not tail a play of the year, Mikey?
I mean, knockdown, drag out, smack the bookie over the head type of spot. I like it.
All right, beautiful. I just screenshotted that Woo Woo Kenny Woo, and I'm going to keep that, and it's going to be great. Mikey, thank you for joining me on the program. Please follow and support Mikey Money's YouTube channel as well. Sports Money. Follow him on Twitter at PimpSlap, POD as well. Great things happening all across the board. UFC today. It's going to be fun as always. Maybe even some Olympics. You can watch some Olympic basketball as well. France going to whoop that ass today. Cannot wait. So thank you everyone for watching. Want to make a bet? Jared Bush.
Not Jared Bush. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Air Dog, Justin, Big Scott, Smoke and Mirrors, all you guys, rants. Appreciate everyone being in here. I have a lot of people waiting on me, and I have to get changed and burn myself to a crisp. It's going to be a fun day. Mikey, again, thank you for joining me. Thanks for waking up early. Maybe a little midday nap for Mikey Money, and then the money comes here later today. See, I know my guy Mikey. I know what he likes. I know what he needs.
You can sit out on the deck and take a little sun and see what we get to,
It's going to be beautiful. So thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Mally, Markel, wherever he is. I know he wants to see some nipples today, Markel. So good luck today, all of you. Say hey, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for another edition. Say Hey Plays.